I'm Bobby Gately with Gately Audio, and I wanted to go into some extended details about the Guillotine build here. So the overview, the subsystem in the vehicle is 9 Gately Audio Relentless Neo4 18-inch subwoofers in a 4th order bandpass enclosure. Each subwoofer is a dual 1.4 ohm coil woofer, so I'm at 0.7 ohms on each amplifier. So there's 9 of our Gately Audio G1-7100D amplifiers running the 9 subwoofers. So 0.7 ohm on each amplifier. This has a dual voltage electrical system. So all of the Gately Audio amplifiers are powered at 16.2 volts. And then there is a separate electrical system that is separated with a regular AGM battery that we actually have in the center console. And that is stepped down to 14.2 volts, and that runs our JL Audio MM105 Media Master head unit, the truck's factory electrical system, and the JL Audio MV606 DSP amplifier that we're using solely as a sound processor to control everything in the truck. So the source unit we used here in the Guillotine is a JL Audio MM105. It's a Media Master unit from JL Audio. These seem to be really durable and perform very well, and we've used these in several of the large-scale demo vehicles that we've built in the last few years, and it's worked really very well. We designed this 3D printed component that has, a little amp turn on off button, control for the lights. We have some fans blowing across the amplifiers and under the hood near the alternators. And then we have a switch to turn off 2 of the 3 alternators so that it's not loading up the engine too aggressively on startup. When all 3 alternators are going, it puts a really heavy load on the tensioner, pulley, and the water pump. We have to create a reinforced water pump pulley for some of these vehicles. We have Steve Mead cut us a steel part that we weld onto the front of the water pump pulley, as well as we weld the water pump pulley onto the water pump shaft. Otherwise, under all the tension of the 3 alternators, when operating the vehicle, sometimes just demoing or maybe driving the vehicle, because most of these things are drivers. He drives this thing around, and I actually drove this thing over the hill from, up over the pass of 80 through Tahoe and down to Reno and back for the Sky High Barbecue. So this thing can drive, as crazy of a build as it is. We turn off 2 of the alts so that it's not so much pressure on that belt system. So connected to the JL Audio MV606i DSP that we're using is the DRC205 knob. And this is just a little simple dual knob component that JL Audio makes. And I designed this simple little 3D printed component that I like to keep in my hand when I'm operating the vehicle. This cable is long enough that I can take it out and hold it outside the window if I want to give 2 people demos, or if I'm tired of getting my butt kicked by this thing's audio system and I simply need a break from it, but I want to continue demoing, I can stand outside the vehicle and still operate it. Works really well. Everybody loves these things. Almost every build we do has one of these in it. The primary battery in the truck, under the back of the truck, is a 250 amp hour Warpath Energy skib bank, and it's big and it's beautiful. So here at the back of the Guillotine is the big amp rack. So the amp rack is designed where any one of these amplifiers can be removed from this amp rack without having to dismount the amp rack or anything else. So it's super serviceable. That makes it so that we've never had a problem with any of the amplifiers at all. So the harder it is to service something, the more likely it is to fail. There's some kind of Murphy's Law or something like that that pertains to that. The 9 G1-7100D amplifiers run the 9 Relentless Neo4 18-inch subwoofers inside. We have 2 on each side, so 4 total of our G4700AB Class AB 4-channel amplifiers. There are 2 more hidden behind one of the rear doors, so there's 6 total 700 AB 4-channel amplifiers. All of the channels are bridged So we're making a lot of power on all the highs and mids in this truck. On the monoblocks, we have these Jim's MachineWorx products that myself, Jason Blackboom, and Jim from Jim's MachineWorx came up with to try to figure out a way to kind of fit all of this wiring. Mainly, it was in a build that we're going to do for Jason Blackboom, but it fit perfectly into the concept of this build. So, shout out to Jason Blackboom, and obviously Jim is the man for making the product for us. We have a bunch of, I believe it's Glow Industries 800 amp fuses here in this SMD fuse block. And obviously a bunch of sky-high 4-aught OFC wire feeding all these amplifiers back here. And this is all powered by the big Warpath Energy 250 amp hour battery that you saw in the video. And then for the highs and mids, we'll start at the door here. We have 4 on each side of our Gately Audio G8 8-inch mid-bass drivers in a sealed enclosure on each store. And the A-pillars, similar to many of the other vehicles using our Gately Audio speakers now, we have 4 of our G3 3-inch mid-range speakers and 4 of our GTW Silk Dome tweeters on each pillar. So 8 speakers on each pillar. Behind the front seats in front of the enclosure is, the guys call it a Chuchero Box. I don't know if that's the most appropriate term for it. And it has 8 coaxial horn driver full range speakers. So those things are loud and get down pretty good. All of the speakers in the cabin are powered by 6 of our Gately Audio G4 700AB amplifiers. The enclosure is constructed with a steel cage, and this steel cage system that I developed for this vehicle used a lot of full-length 2x2 steel tubing, 2-inch by 2-inch steel tubing that is full length of the enclosure, and lots of fiber laser cut components that our friend Steve Mead cut for us for this build to make it significantly easier to build this cage than the other cages that we built in the past. And it was a really fun experience, and we intend to use that primary design on 2 more builds that we're doing in the near future. And so the knowledge we gained in this build has helped exponentially on some of the up-and-coming projects we're super excited about. The Baffle Assembly was built out of, I believe, 17 different pieces of 1-inch Baltic birch plywood that were kind of stacked, laminated together. And then I personally took a couple of grinders and a bunch of sweaty hard work and grinded the 3-dimensional shape, exposing all the laminate layers. And I did all that by hand, and that was a hell of a workout. Floor of the truck is reinforced with some 1-inch Baltic birch and utilizing a technique with some fiberglass reinforced body filler to create components that form fit to the undulated shape of the metal floor, and then laminated to the floor with some very strong construction adhesive. And the firewall is reinforced heavily. We removed the windshield wiper motor and motion assemblies from there, welded a bunch of steel into it, and then filled the entire front cowl area with 16-pound expanding foam mixed in with several pounds of fiberglass chop. If you are ever attempting to do that in the future, be very careful not to have any voids that will allow that foam to pour out of the truck. You'll thank me later for not having that issue. The entire roof of the truck was reinforced with mainly 1 layer of 1-inch thick Baltic birch plywood laminated to the roof of the truck. And then in front of the enclosure, we have 2 layers. We have several added steel components, and then a large steel structure that fastened to the front metal structure of the roof, and a through bolt assembly through the floor, that reinforced floor that I described a moment ago. And we have this very strong stripper pole because even with all the reinforcement that we had done to the roof and to the firewall, we still smashed a few windshields out of this thing before getting it that strong. And still, we try to keep an easy up over the front of it. This thing's out in the sun because if the windshield is really hot out in the sun, it'll just smash the windshield right out of itself, even if the doors are open. It's pretty rowdy. Now, under the hood, we have a custom triple alt bracket. A lot of you guys are going to ask if I'll sell this to you, and the answer is no, because it is extremely difficult to work with. It's not super reasonable to provide this product that somebody could install and function on their own. I would need the vehicle here, and you got to count on spending quite a bit in labor hours for us to get it all together and get it functioning correctly, because we have struggled with this thing for a long time. The alternators we're using are Brand X alternators. They work fantastic. Truck charges extremely well, holds voltage very, very well when demoing for extended days of time. And the alternators themselves have nothing to do with the difficulty level of that alt bracket that we have been fighting with, but we got it working very, very well now. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this extended video. If you have any questions about this build or any other of the builds that we've done and the products that we use in them, visit our website, gatelyaudio.com, shoot us an email, give us a call, and we're happy to discuss everything car audio with you at any time.